At the end, Jesus, who has been betrayed and denied and deserted and handed over and condemned and mocked, Jesus on the cross finally cries out, "Eloi, Eloi, lama sabachthani." My God, why have you forsaken me? And he dies. Jesus goes to a painful, humiliating death, unsure of why it's happening to him, in Mark's gospel.
One very popular objection atheists, Muslims and skeptics will use to attack Jesus' divinity is quoting, for example, what you just heard, renowned New Testament scholar and atheist Dr. Bart said in that video clip. Mark chapter 15 verse 34, which has Jesus saying on the cross before he dies, my God, why have you forsaken me?" There is so much I could and want to say about that clip we just watched, but I want to keep this video on topic, so I won't. But I have to address one related part. Remember when Dr. Bart said this?
Jesus goes to a painful, humiliating death, unsure of why it's happening to him, in Mark's gospel.
Really? Unsure? If we just go back a couple of chapters before this passage Bart is quoting, Jesus said in Mark chapter 10 verse 45, "The Son of Man came not to be served, but to serve, and to give his life as a ransom for many." So here Jesus predicted the why this is happening to him. But there is more. Jesus did not only predicted the why, he also predicted the what. In Mark chapter 9 verse 31, Jesus said, "The Son of Man will be betrayed into the hands of men. They will kill him, and after 3 days, he will rise." And in Mark chapter 10 verse 33, he gets even more specific about the arrest and stuff. So with the context, Jesus predicted both the why and what. Jesus was not being unsure as to why all this was happening to him. He literally predicted both the why and what. Bart is a good scholar, but this is either sloppy or misleading. Context matters. Don't take my words for it. Don't take Bart's words for it. Read the text for yourself. Now let's address the forsaken quote by Jesus on the cross. The passion narratives can be harmonized. Objections to that, though, are neither new or without Christian responses for the past 2000 years. The 4 gospel accounts record a total of 7 sayings by Jesus on the cross. They are neither contradictory, nor were they necessarily all he said throughout those 6 hours on the cross. And arguing from silence between those 4 gospel accounts that are from different authors, different eyewitnesses, different perspectives, and aimed at different target groups is a logical fallacy. Argumentum ex silentio. So then, before I explain what has been an early Christian Orthodox and historical response to this skeptic objection regarding this peculiar forsaken quote by Jesus on the cross, whom by the way Matthew records in his account too, and that makes sense because his account was also mainly directed at the Jews. But more on that shortly. Now to start off, let me also just use Jesus' own words after he had resurrected that Luke records in his account, chapter 24 verse 44. "Everything must be fulfilled that is written about me in the law of Moses, the prophets, and the Psalms." So let's go to Psalm chapter 22 verse 1, written about 1,000 years before the time of Jesus. my God, why have you forsaken me?" Yep, that's right. Same kind of saying that Jesus was uttering on the cross. Now let's check out some more of this Psalm 22. Let's go to, for example, verse 18. "They divided my garments among them, and they cast lots for my clothing." Looks familiar? If we just go to Mark chapter 15 verse 24, just 10 verses before these words of Jesus in focus are recorded, what do we see? "And they crucified him, and divided up his garments among themselves, casting lots for them." Verse 27 through 31, stay with me. "All the ends of the earth will remember and turn to the Lord, and all the families of the nations will worship before you. For the kingdom is the Lord's, and he rules over the nations. All the prosperous of the earth will eat and worship, and all those who go down to the dust will kneel before him. Even he who cannot keep his soul alive. Our posterity will serve him. It will be told of the Lord to the coming generation. They will come and will declare his righteousness to a people who will be born, that he has performed it. All families of the nations of all the ends of the earth, wealthy, poor, dead, will kneel and worship him. Philippians chapter 2 verse 10 and 11. So that at the name of Jesus, every knee will bow, of those who are in heaven and on earth and under the earth, and that every tongue will confess that Jesus Christ is Lord, to the glory of God the Father. And a people sure was born. You may know them as Christians. And what's in their message? God's righteousness, and that he has performed it. It's finished. Let's summarize. Jesus was not being unsure as to why all this was happening to him. He literally predicted both the why and what in Mark. Bart and skeptics' Mark 15:34 objection is, as we saw, refuted by Jesus in Mark 9:31 and Mark 10:45. Literally just 5-6 chapters prior to the crucifixion. Context matters. There are more to be found in this Psalm 22, but we looked at 3 powerful examples why Jesus used his last moments of strength and words in excruciating pain to utter the beginning of this well-known psalm, especially by scribes and Pharisees. By applying it to himself, we see it was another fulfilled prophecy that had just taken place. In fulfillment of the last verses of this psalm? Well, myself and 2 billion plus Christians from all nations and ends of the earth proclaiming Jesus as Lord till this day and beyond, 2,000 years later, shows the fulfillment of that part. I barely scratched the surface. We could have looked at plenty more connections, addressed potential objections, other prophecies and other gospel accounts. But then this video would be 5 hours and not 5 minutes. But I will leave some links to videos and articles below if you want to go deeper. Now, I know that many atheists don't like Psalm 22. You know why? Because atheism is a non-profit organization.